Hello everyone, this is Alta of Wisdom. We are continuing our series on my Kick device. Last time we started to cope up with what I actually did in the first range of videos. Now we're moving ahead. We're gonna do some interesting work on the graphical interface, having like objects following and automatic detection of where you are, what the mouse is actually going. We had to go through quite some bugs because doing Maxforlive development is like doing any kind of development. So it means encountering bugs and spending time trying to figure out what's going wrong. So yeah, hold your breath and buckle up. We're going for that second session. So I'm not using the mouse position, but the closest object. But in that case, I need to be able to find where the point is. And this is a little bit tricky because it depends on the position of that object. Can do that using get attr, so allowing to request the current values of any object which is connected to it. So the second outlet has to be connected to the object, and from the first outlet I'm receiving the thing, and what I want to get is presentation rect. Boom. So now I have the presentation. If I click on that, I can check that it's actually corresponding to what I wanted, to what I want. It's a bit more, it's a bit simpler to having anything related to the patcher, because here we are embedded inside of a different window. So we'll see, but this is the actual value which I want to use to scale my object position from the XY coordinate that we get here to an actual value in terms of the mouse position. So I think I can remove that. Oh, well, let's keep it at hand in case we want to use it later for display something else. So this is going there. So I'm unpacking the X and Y. Well, I'm unpacking everything. All these coordinates using there, and then from the closest I'm gonna unpack the X and Y, and I'm gonna scale them to something which is related to my patcher. So I'm gonna have to use two scale objects. So let's start them with 0, 1. So I'm gonna use integers only, so I don't need to put any dots because I'm on the screen position. And what I want to do is convert my closest X and closest Y to some values, some points. And so 0 and 1 are okay. No, so that's wrong because my X and Y are actually decimals. So I have a X coordinate between 0 and 1, a Y coordinate between 0 and 1 as well, and I want to convert that to get in the middle of my function. So the minimum value from the output will be driven from this X point, and the maximum value, and that's a bit tricky because this gives me a width, but I don't want a width, I want the actual value, so I need to add these two values together to get my maximum value. And I'm going to do the same for the Y coordinate. The minimum value will be there and the maximum value will be there, and let's see what I get by doing so. maybe I need to bang this thing to force it to output again. Yeah. It's giving me, normally it's giving me the closest point coordinates. Maybe it's wrong, but let's check if it works. So mouse position will be, it would be the same command that I want to use, but instead I will be using these two values and connecting there, and let's see what it does. So let's check first that I have no errors. Okay, let's switch to view mode, and we have this thing which is moving, but which is, it's the x coordinate is okay, but the y coordinate is not. Is due to the fact that the screen is actually from 0 on the top to the maximum on the bottom, whereas the envelope is from 0 from the bottom to 1 on the top. So we have to switch these two values, which correspond to the y coordinate, and we should be good now. Yeah. So now my closest point has been selected and have these values displayed on it. That's pretty good. I'm able to change things, at least for now. And now I have my display which is following my mouse. Isn't that great? Okay, so now I have one object which is located just right to the right of my mouse. However, I get 4 objects, and I want to be able to show all of them at the same time. So logically, if I want to put them like in a square, so let's say that this one is at the mouse position. The second one, which been the pitch x, pitch x will be mx, let's say plus 45, so it's going to be to the right of the first one. I'm going to change that anyway. Second one plus 90. So it's going to be pitch y, and the pitch c will be plus 135. There's no error. Okay, and now I have all my points following up. Great. This will be fun, because if I change this value, what I want to do is have this point moving to the right. So that's going to be funny, because I think that I will be changing an object while it's going to be moving. So I really don't know how it's going to work. And I will have to face the issue with my latest point, which will be to the right. To the right of my window, and with the text in that case that has to be to the left and not to the right. So we'll change. Let's say var I will need the dimensions of my window somehow. So this I need to store inside of my patcher. So let's say var to store the envelope with height and position. And so I'm going to have a small helper tool, which is present envelope position, and then I can store these 4 elements. So env x. Oh yeah, maybe maybe you have something different, xmin, because I usually use that, xmax, ymin, and ymax, so I can convert straight ahead. So min x, xmin equals arguments 0, xmax is second is xmin plus arguments 2, ymin is arguments 1, and ymax is ymin plus arguments 3. And so now this will be used as a new command, append envelope position, so I can get the values here. No function envelope position, so there is an error at line 15. Oh yeah, wrong. Variable name, line 118. Oh, there's a var here which is useless. Okay. So all these all this to make sure that my object here will be inside the window. So that's will have to use var something like the start position x, which will be the minimum. I think that's math.min that we have to use. Or is it math? Yeah, math.min from x max minus, so if I take 45 minus 180 and mx, so if my mouse is too on the right, it's too much on the right, then I'm going to start from a tiny bit left, and the start y going to be the same, minimum from y max minus 45 only, my. Let's see if it compiles okay. And so it's not going to be mx here, but start x I want to use, and start y, start y. The there's no error. I'm gonna click on this thing to make sure I get the values, and then let's try it. Okay, so that's not working as I wanted, because the min is doing something. Yeah, it's doing something, but not exactly what I want. So I may have to correct one element or the other. Let's check that I actually have done that properly. Okay, so get the width and height. hold on a sec. Yeah, so that's X, Y, and with height, so expand to 1. Okay. And then well, let's check separately the X and Y coordinate. So X, and the thing is okay, these are the limits of my objects. Okay, so that's what I want. So just let's put for the time being, I'll put a border if there is or my background color, for example, so I can see. Oh, you can see the background of my my envelope and the limits of it. So by default I'm to the right, but if I'm there, then I need to be on the left to avoid getting out of the window. That's good. This point is for some reason, oh, this is on top of the point, so I need to check not start specifically on the start X point, because I'm going to be on the on top of the object. So the starting point would be something like maybe we can try to be somewhere below on the middle, something like that, if it's possible. Well, let's calculate that. So my width is okay, but I'm going to be to the left. So at 90 minus 90, which will be the, and same for my mouse. And for X max, I'm going to be on the, it's tiny bit lower. So let's say plus 10, something like 10 pixels below. But in that case, I need to have 55 points of margin pixels, like so. So as you can see, and this way I can grab my points, and I'm following. This one doesn't work because I'm outside. It's still working. It's showing something, but it's not working as I want it. Let's go straight to the bottom. And in that case, this one is not working. Either it's too high. So let's correct the X first. So if I'm not minus, yeah, still like so. Okay, so this one is all right, and I have this thing as well because I have the same problem if I'm on at the left. So let's correct it. So start X is math.maximum between its current value and but I need to be at least at 90%, 90 pixels, like so. So now I'm sure that my first point will always be somewhere. No, that's 0. Yeah, is that 0? Yeah, like so. And now for Y. So for Y here I'm okay, here as well. But this one is too high, so I probably need to correct it. So my minimum value is not, yeah, because my height is not 55, it's 15. So that's minus 15 that I wanted to grab. Yeah. But that's no good. Plus 10, so that's 10 pixels below, so that's going to be 25, so 15 plus 25, yeah, that's better. So now I have all my points which probably show on top of the envelope, and I still can change my envelope even though it's not displaying as I go. So that's something which I actually can't do, I think. Still, okay. I thought my curve was not working, but it's working actually, because the curve is referring to the previous point. All right. So now what we have is something which updates quite nicely, but I haven't connected back this. If I change it, it doesn't do anything, but I would like to do so. So the output of these things should go back to my envelope manager to update the points, which in turn will update the envelope. That's a bit tricky, but it's it's adding nicely on top of the rest. Everything is, all these tasks are quite simple, but of course if you try to gather everything at the same time, then you will face problems. So mouse position is okay. Let's clean up a tiny bit. So this is actually going there. I'm not sure if I need to make a load bang here. I need more space. This line. Okay, so let's start first. There may be something that I need to do is make sure that this thing is not activated if I'm editing a point, because it wouldn't work first, and I don't think it would be nice, but we'll do that later. So I'm going to create like 3 functions, one for adjusting the X coordinate, second one for the Y coordinate, and the third one for the curve, depending on what I'm touching. So let's start with just the first one. Update X. So it's gonna accept one parameter. When doing so, we have to make sure that there is no feedback loop between the value I'm editing and this which I'm doing. So what I need to do first is convert back this to XY, between 0 and 1. So I probably can do this automatically because the raw value here is already between 0 and 1, so I can use it directly, but I'm gonna prepend that with update X $1, like so. So if I'm changing here, it's calling the update X function, which is not stored, so I need to save that. And now it's actually been called, but it's not doing anything for now. So, but simply what I know is which point I'm on. So I may need to store the closest point somewhere here. So closest would be a global variable here. Because this is the one I want to edit. So what I will do is now edit the closest point. So using d.set closest x and the value I want to use is my argument. I could use something like value, I think, something like v. If I only have one parameter, I think that I can use it directly like so without needing to have some cumbersome things. So let's try it. We'll check that it works on, so I'm on point number 3. Not actually name, oh yeah. That's probably because I need to save at some point. Okay. Sometimes it happens that I lose the okay, as you see, I'm editing point number 4. I'm changing the value between maximum and minimum, which is the yeah, but that's a trouble because the max value of that is not the max value of my object, but the max value of this. So it's not working as I want it to. So I actually need to divide this by the length, the duration, and I need to clip to make sure I'm staying between the values. One of the problems that we will have is that it's going to be difficult to force the point to stay between the two previous one, the previous and the next one. So I probably need to add a little bit of logic inside the patcher, inside the JavaScript, to make sure it stays where it has to. So I don't need actually that clip because it's gonna be done inside. So if I edit that, you see that I'm sometimes higher, 1000, yeah, because there's no data here. Okay, so let's send some data. Okay, and now if I'm editing, if I'm 920 but my envelope is 447, then it's sending things which don't correspond to anything. And no data. Why is it that I don't get any data from here? Oh, because it's not coming from there. It's coming from the other patcher. That's the one. Good. Okay, so my maximum value is 432. So if I say try to edit, then here you see that I'm over the top of my lens. So I need to filter it. Not sure if I can clip this. I use it as a clipping function inside of JavaScript. Let's check that. So that's for scripting. No. I think that's not clip. Oh, that's no, that's not right. I want. So maybe I'm just gonna create a clip. Function clip. So v between A and B. And I'm going to return math.minimum of math. It's a simple one, but it's heavy to write each time. Maximum between V and A and B. So I'm going to return here, I'm going to get the maximum value between V and A to make sure that I'm over A, and the minimum value between that value and B to make sure I return something which is below B. So that's going to be clip. So So V has to be clipped between D dot get the from closest -1, so the previous point, dot to string plus X, sorry, no. So that's the leftmost value, and the rightmost value would be D dot get +1 to string plus all right, and now using V, let's try that. Let's save. Oh, there's an error here, 136. That's probably some missing parenthesis. Yep. Good. Let's give it a try. If I change the value, oh, it doesn't change anything because I need to trigger the update envelope. All right. You see that I'm moving, so this point is moving, but it's limited to the two nearest points. Let's say I want to move this one. There's something wrong with this point. It's going out ahead. And I need to make, I need to check, well, this is point number 5. Because, yeah. Let's see what I have in my dictionary. 0, 1, 2, and 3. Ah, okay, 3 has been screwed up earlier. So let's maybe just clear the envelope and start over and check what it does. Oh. Okay, yeah, my bad. Yeah, I need to clear the dictionary actually. It's probably better than clearing the envelope. Oh, there's a crash. I think I know why. So I'm gonna start over. All right, so let's make a clear function here, because actually clearing here doesn't mean removing everything, but probably storing a base dictionary. So function clear, and I'm gonna create a basic dictionary. So let's say d dot clear, so clearing the dictionary, append 0 plus 0. Could do that in a JSON format, but it's easier to read like so. So 0 y would be maximum, say. 0 curve would be 0, and I'm going to add a second point for the time being, which will be 1.1 x coordinate would be 1, y coordinate would be 0, and curve will be, let's say, -1, something like that. And I need to add an update envelope, like so. There's no errors, and so the message clear should be sent to my JavaScript program. Okay. So if I want to have a default shape, I can do that within this simple function. So it's quite convenient. Right. Then we were trying to edit things here. So let's say I want to edit point number. So I get this. Oh, it's point number 2 is screwed up. Okay, there's something wrong, but it's probably due to that thing. That's the problem when you're working on elements. You have some variables which are actually missing. And not this one, this one. I'm gonna clear again, and then check if oh. No. 0 value is there, okay. Here we have 0. Yeah. So because there is border issue here, because if my point is if my closest point is 0, then I can't have a left value. So it doesn't make sense, because here I'm reading something which doesn't exist, and I think this causes the crash earlier. And I need to have the numbers of points of my envelope in case I'm editing the right one, the rightmost one. Firstly, I can do clip v between 0 and 1, because anyway this is what I want to do and in the end, but it's if the closest is not the first one, then I can clip. And next, when I have mouse, the closest, yeah, no, not in that case. I need at some point to store the numbers of points in my envelope. This is initialized to -1, and then points here is equal to 2. In this here I already know how many points I have, but if update okay, so this is when I change something in my envelope. So in that case, I'm gonna update the number of points. Number of points equal index divided by 3, because my index is starting from 0 and updated every 3, but I need to add 1 because there's 1 point, the first one. So my number of points is coming from there. Update envelope will not change the numbers of points. Mouse neither, mouse position neither, but here so that's the first case. Closest different from NB points -1, because points are number starting from 0. Then that's a bit awkward is if let's make an else. All this this is the initial reason why I started doing JavaScript inside Max, because all this logic is so hard to do using regular maxing patches objects. So if closest equals 0, then I have a minimum of 2 points. So if my closest one is 0, then it can't be 1. If closest, well, I may need to prevent removing the last point. Anyway, if closest equals 0, then I'm gonna clip only from 0 to the next one. Else, in the last case, I'm closer to the final one, the last point. So I'm gonna use the closest to the left. And not to the right. The right one will be 1. Something like that. So normally this is useless because no matter what I do, all my points are between 0 and 1. So if I change this, I'm going to go up to there. If I change that, I can go up to there. And you see I can go upwards, but it's getting back to the maximum value if need be. So let's add a point. Oh, okay, because when I add a point, it screws up my envelope. So there's something wrong in the way I'm now handling my points. And a crashing. Okay, back again. Yeah, my value can be actually more than 1 because I'm not capping it here at all. But I'm not sure why I get these crashes whenever I try to update. So maybe I'm failing at adding points, because it's when I add points that I experience crashes. So let's check here. I don't want to have this one. Let's check here what's actually going on if I add a point. Okay, I can add a point, but there might be some there might be some feedback loops here that causes the crashes. Yeah, and something wrong when I hover because it's changing the positions of my points. That's probably not normal. Let's check if I'm not doing things wrong here. 0, 1 and 0, 1. Because there's a bang here. Let's make sure that there's not something wrong happening here. Yeah, because the second inlet is actually okay. It's getting a bang only. There's nothing else arriving to that inlet. Just making sure that nothing has changed from the previous version I had. Still, there's something wrong in my points. All my points are positioned at the coordinate 0, which doesn't really make sense. And I can't edit anymore. There's some weird loop. Let's see if we have some no dictionary name 3. Yeah, there's actually no third point. I can't add any point here. And I'm okay. I probably have lost connection somewhere. because of the crashes maybe. So dump, going there, group going there, and I have my points here. So let's check on update dict. Oh no, finally here. So now I'm already 1 point ahead. So that's probably why we are crashing. So let's clear. I can't add a point anymore. Let's clear that. Let's see. Why is it so? So if I click, I actually get a point, 0.50 minus 1. Yeah, I'm actually sending a point. No, the third point isn't actually sent at all. So there's most likely a loop somewhere or something that prevents adding a point from itself. So update, let's check on update dict. I may add some post here just to make sure that I actually receive the values. +1, +2, this to make sure that my envelope with the new point is actually received from within. So let's check on the console. No, let's clear again. Yeah. Let's add the carriage return. Okay, so it's not definitely adding the point at all. And I can't edit anything. So here we are back again. Yeah, I think there's a feedback loop somewhere. So I think I nailed it. So if I remove this, so the link starting from the JavaScript and going to the envelope, just keeping the other side, and you see that now I can change my envelope right. And of course, it won't work the other way. So if I do something here, nothing happens because I've lost the connection between this one and this one, where, however, it's working on the opposite side. The rest is working. Yeah, or not. Yeah, there's some weird things going on. There's a point here, but this one doesn't seem to be followed because, yeah, it is. No, that's okay. But I can't do the opposite. So probably I need to protect this connection, this outgoing connection, whenever this thing is sending updates. So what I'm gonna do is using a gate again, which can, oops, and this gate will be controlling whether this thing properly outputs its content to the outside. So it's only one gate. I just do only one output, which is open or closed. And it's this connection that I want to make controllable. and on this thing I probably need, so if I change my envelope, it's going to trigger a bang here, and this bang will do several things. So I'm going to first close the gate and finally open it again. So let's check that. Yeah, I've lost some of the connections, I guess. So usually it's better done this way, so I can keep my points, my connections right. So these are the connections which were in the middle, but I'm controlling this gate here and there, and that thing connects to the input. So let's check if it's working better. So if I change something here, that's all right. I can remove a point, and if I try to change one of the points, it's still working. So let's check on the proper visual display. So now I can change my points. I can edit my points from here. Oh, still have crashes. That doesn't seem to be enough. Hopefully we haven't lost what I just did, because I'm not sure if I saved, and sometimes it doesn't keep. Yeah, I've lost my latest edits, unfortunately. For some reason, these types of crash prevent Max from restoring previous edit. So that's a bit annoying. So I really need to save before I experiment anything. So this connection were from here to there. Get this 0 here, 1 there. It's probably not enough now because I still have the troubles. There we go. All these connections have to be changed going there, and this is going to that gate. Great. I can remove that. Save. Okay. This one is unneeded. So now let's try to figure out why it's still crashing. Yeah, I mean, I'm updating the dictionary, so probably I need to switch this to because here I'm opening the. Okay, let's just check. So I have this bang which is triggered. Yeah, the weird thing is that it's changing. It's crashing when I'm changing the thing, so not strictly speaking after a bang is generated. As you can see here, if I do things, nothing happens until I release the mouse. And here again, get nothing going on. Yeah, it's starting to be real messy here. Probably need to arrange all this. Why is that thing opening each time I save? I just don't know. It's not my expected behavior. Okay then, so it means that whatever I'm doing on that envelope is getting overridden by the current content of the envelope. So yeah, there's some. Oh, yeah, let's check if again my envelope is, yeah, okay. The content of my envelope is not updated at all. Sorry. This is working, but this doesn't do anything. So I'm gonna move ahead and print. Oops. Print the output of the dump to check if it's actually at least trying to add the point. Yeah. So we have 1, 2, 3 points. Actually, it's acting weird. Let's, okay. Oh, that's the mouse state thing. So that was actually the way I want it. It's just that I have the mouse position, but let's say I'm not moving and clicking. So I get, yeah, so my points are properly sent. Let's intercept that somewhere else later on. So this should be the result of the dump. Nothing else. So it's printing only 2 points. Ah, but that's weird. It's clear. Try again. So no matter what I do, I can't add points to that envelope anymore. Because any modification I do is probably overridden by what I'm doing in Envelope Manager, and the gate is open normally. 0. No, that means the gate is closed here. It should not be closed after all this. So let's use a little bit of coloring on the cables. It's going to help us see what we're doing. So let's say I want some blue. So these are the messages for the first gate. These are the messages for the second one. It's going to be in red. Okay. So this one is receiving 0, then this one is receiving 1, then we are clearing the group, then we are triggering a dump here, while this gate is open to the first output. Then we are outputting the group, the group of the point, which will trigger an update in the dictionary, and then we are opening that for mouse reporting again, and finally we are reopening this gate so that it can output potential changes in the envelope. But for some reason it doesn't do what I'm expecting it to. Yeah, update tick is definitely not getting what I want. But where, yeah, the dump is actually triggered there, and the result of the dump is actually coming there. So that's what I want. Let's check again. So just that a little bit wider. So first I want to close the output of the envelope manager. Then I want to open the first outlet of that gate, which is this one. Yeah, it's currently closed, okay. Then I want to clear the group which I'm gonna replace by the content of that dump. All right. Then I'm gonna push the content of the group to a dictionary, which will be calling update dictionary. Then I will switch back to mouse mode, and finally reopen the dumping outlet of the envelope manager. So all this seems right, but for some reason it doesn't work. So let's remove that again. Yeah, so as we can see, this is perfectly working, and my dictionary is working as well, but for some reason I can't do the opposite. Whenever I enable this outlet, I'm starting getting an old version of the dictionary that will be outputted. So let's open envelope manager. Yeah, but maybe it's just not dumping anything. So I'll just kill that, check that. Yeah, I actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points, which correspond to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points, and I'm actually receiving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points inside envelope manager in that thing. So update dictionary is all right, and I'm not calling anything from here, so normally it shouldn't trigger any message from here to there. Because update envelope is not called at all. Update envelope is only called when I start the device. So normally it's not called here at all. And position is not doing anything. And mouse position, just check in, mouse position is not triggering anything, any drawing, at least not on the envelope, so it's not outputting everything. Yeah, main monitor was going out of that gate. So I redo the connection, and this print will be connected to the output of the gate. So this way I can check. So let's clear. Okay, weirdly, why is it sending things from here? What is it clearing the... Okay, this is... Hold on a sec. Whenever I hover on it, yeah, I'm setting clearing messages from my JavaScript to the envelope, which I shouldn't be doing. So it's probably a mouse. Is it mouse or mouse position? By the way, why do I have both? Mouse is, okay, outputting closest, and mouse position is not outputting any triggering. So I'm trying to understand why this thing is, let's check that it's this actual print message. So we can name a print if you have several, so you can know which one you actually triggered. Yeah, that's actually gate out, which is outputting things. So there aren't that many places in which I'm actually clearing the envelopes. If I search for clear, we're gonna see that it's called once here. So we are using clear, and we are updating envelope. So updating envelope is clearing outlet, but that's it. So for some reason this is called, because that's the only place, the only point where I'm using, I'm clearing the envelope. So let's check if there is a place where we are actually calling update envelope. So okay, in clear, that's normal because I'm clearing at the beginning. And when I press update X, so that might be that this is outputting things. Yeah, this thing is probably outputting values which trigger the envelope to be redrawn. So I'm not wanting to do a feedback here, so I'm gonna use set. So the difference between just sending the value here and using set is that it will update the counter, the measure, but will not output its value at all. It will just show it. And I think we should have logically sorted our problem. So let's lock again. Yeah, okay, that was it. Because now we have it working properly, I think. Let's save and let's play again with it. All right, if I can add a point, yep, I can edit the point. And if I want to change this one, it's working. All right. And all this is okay. If I remove a point, I can edit my points. Same, and can change them. Okay. So we probably need to do the same for the other changeable parameters. So let's just remove a little bit of that stuff here. I think there's a post somewhere. Yeah. Okay. So that's the first one. Now I'm gonna do the same if I want to adjust the pitch of a point. However, this is not in frequency, so I won't be able to do some precise things, but it might not be a problem unless I want to do some silly things. Yeah. Yeah, we can do that. I mean, I can have a combined display here, which shows both the value and the frequency, but it's a little bit awkward because I want it to be editable. So for now, maybe let's just let it be a little bit less. Yeah, one finding I just had is pressing Alt-Shift and putting an object in a cable will actually put that cable in the middle of the cable of the other ones directly, so you don't have to reconnect. That's pretty nice. And now I have this one which goes back to there, similarly to the first one. And now updating Y will do something similar, but we have less control, we have less checkings because there's no problem if one Y value is higher or lower than the previous one. So with XY, we just will make sure that we are between. So this is useless. All this is useless. Actually, I just need to set closest to string Y value and using clip of this between 0 and 1 because that's our vertical values, and then update the envelopes and we should be all right. It's connected. Let's try. Oh, probably, yeah, probably need to of course, scale back on the other side. And so these two instead will be the starting values. I need to push them. No. Make sure that these values are properly handled. And now let's check. Yeah, I can change the value of the selected point, and it's going to move as soon as I have changed, release the mouse. I can do it by clicking on the point, of course, but with less precision, and this is my trouble. This was my trouble. Same, I'm going to do the same for the curve. So again, the curve is the curve which is actually to the left that we are editing. If you see, if I change the curve, you see that this one which is changed is the one which is to the right of the curve I'm changing. So update C, and the curve is clipped between -1 and 1, and it's a value, the value of C, which I want to change. I need to do some connections there as well. So this is okay. Again, we want to have it. Oops, no. No. I did something nice, but it was not what I intended to do. No, sorry. Too many shortcuts. Nope. No, totally wrong. Like so, and now update C. Making sure that my values are okay, so between -1 and 1, and I think we're good. Update C is done. Now I can check how it's working, so I can change the curve. Of course, I can do it using Alt as well, it's working. But if you want to have precise control, it's doable. Let's check that it works on the first point. Okay. All right. If I change this, it should not change anything. Oh, it should change something, because if I'm A4, then this should be A4, but it's, for some reason, let's say, if I do that, so this display is A4, but if I change this, it's not updated anymore. Of course, because I've changed the values. So when I change this thing, that these are minor details, but whatever. I mean, let's save. I like to do things properly, so this one will not be updated. It should be not visible to mapping. It should be editable, so it should ignore click. I'm not changing the point number. This one is slightly to the left. So normally what's happening if I change these values, I should not do anything inside of my envelope apart from changing the value which is here. So probably sending a bang there, bang perform the last scaling operation. So I probably need to trigger a bang if I change the up or down values. So yeah, one here and one there, triggering a bang on the computation of the node value depending on the new values of scale. But it will most likely happen randomly behind. The thing is, if you have two cables that go from just one, you're not actually sure which one will arrive first. So it's a bit problematic. So I'm gonna do two things. The first one is get rid of that, which is useless. Then using all this that are totally not needed at that place of the patcher. Let's put them where we actually use them. So that's a little bit lighter. So this is my outlet for the minimum frequency, minimum node value, the outlet for the maximum value, and each of these should generate things, but in the right order to make sure that I'm not losing one change. So this will be replaced. So this min will trigger a bang and a floating point. This one as well. And instead of having that direct connection, all these direct connections, by the way, they will be triggered here, apart from this one, which will happen there. And same from the other point, which will appear here, but this one will be connected through there. And I have to connect this and this. I get to do a second one here. I want to trigger that again, but no, not this one. This one I don't care because it won't be updated at all. It's just when I want to update this visual value when I change the minimum and maximum, but not the opposite. It doesn't make sense. So if I check, let's say, if I check this, let's say I'm showing D4 and I'm changing these values. So now I see that my D4 value is changing because the maximum frequency here is different. You can see that I'm following from the maximum one, and from the minimum one it doesn't change anything. But if I select the minimum one here, which is on 0, oops, no. So you see that the G2 is following all lowest value. That's exactly what I want to do. And if I go past the C#5, which is then the minimum becomes the maximum, and then the A#3 is shown below. So we have something that seems to be proper now. I'm gonna clean a bit and we will report back later. Cheers. All right then, so that was an interesting one. We actually figured out what was that nasty bug. Now we have some elements. We got a really good foundation for moving ahead. As you see, I have done nothing on the audio side during this 3 hours, more or less, session, counting last week and this one. Actually only did things with regard to the graphical interface. You have to keep in mind that there are already a lot of devices or software plugins that actually create kicks or allow you to create a kick depending on what you're up to. The main differentiator between these devices and software is, are they easy to use? Are they convenient? How is the workflow? And it's, I think, at least as important as having something which is sample accurate and that has the proper output sound. And this is the reason why I'm spending so much time on working on the graphic interface in these sessions. And I think that the following session, maybe the 2 following sessions, we will keep on doing things on the graphical interface. I already have ideas to improve what we actually did today. I'm trying to write them down as I go, but sometimes they just pop in my head while I'm in my bed or whatever. And so I just had to figure out what I need to do next. I'll try to share that with you. And so we'll keep on working on that device very shortly. Thanks for watching and take care.